So welcome back to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to do another really fun exercise with Tailwind CSS. And right now you can see I have a Starbucks page right in front of me, so starbucks.com, and this is what it looked like, the home page. And we are going to recreate this page using Tailwind CSS. So here's what the end result is going to look like. And it's also responsive mobile first, designed by Tailwind. So we're gonna have a lot of fun recreating the Starbucks into our HTML, CSS, and Tailwind, and recreating this. So I hope you guys are really excited for this. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So I have my VS Code ready to go right now. I'm in my folder, Starbucks-YT, and we're going to use Tailwind. So just to get started on this, I already have it installed on my computer. So if you don't have that, you need to install the CLI tool, and that's going to be like this, or without the D, that works as well. And once you have the CLI installed, you can do these npx Tailwind CSS init on your VS Code file location. So I'll go back here, and the first thing I do is let's open the terminal, and here I'm going to do is npx tailwind css init. That's going to initialize our Tailwind project, and it's going to create tailwind.config.js, which is a configuration file for Tailwind. Tailwind need to know what file are you going to be reacting to, where is your HTML, where is your JavaScript, and then it's going to take all your custom CSS and make it into a Tailwind file that you can use on your main index HTML or the root of your project. So you could import it in there and you have it all ready to go. So just to clarify on that, you have to make sure you install, you do the npm init, and then you have the configuration file that is created by Tailwind CLI, and then you want to do this right here. So right now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to making sure telling Tailwind where my HTML is going to live. So I'm going to have a folder called source, and in that folder I will have an HTML, and I will tell the Tailwind CSS on the content. You go to the source, and then you will find a lot of file, and if a file ends up with HTML or JS, I want to take note of that and apply the classes that's inside those files and add it to the Tailwind side of configuration. So in here we have HTML. Of course, I'm going to initialize an HTML and write down Starbucks coffee company, and here I will have it ready to go. And I need to import a CSS in here. So Tailwind is going to be giving me a CSS that I can import. So right now I don't have a CSS yet. I'll create a custom CSS called input.css. So this is my custom input. And in here I need to be importing Tailwind directive. So this is step number 3. You can do this and import the directive from Tailwind. Make sure anything I write here, Tailwind is going to take note of that. And yeah, and next is going to be the build process, so which is going to be like a building process. So let's say I will do here is margin equals 0. So once you've done that, I'm going to be copying the build process. So build process is very similar. So what that does is npx Tailwind CSS. We initialize the Tailwind CSS, and then the input. So this is my input. My input is inside the source. You have our input.css, and this is where our custom CSS is living right now, and it's going to be creating an output where we have this folder, and in that folder we have output.css, and it's going to watch it. So if I make any changes to it, it's going to restart the whole build process one more time. So I run that. If you name the file something else, make sure you update it here. And also here, if you name it something else for the output, if you want, you can do that here. So now it says the build process is working because we have a distribution file right here, this folder. And in here you see Tailwind created an output.css, and we have the version, the CLI version I have right now, Tailwind CSS, and all the Tailwind configuration. And at the very end, you will notice one thing: margin 0. That's coming from right here. So, yep, it's working perfectly. That's ready to go. So one thing we need to do is we need to import it in here. So I'll do is go back to just an output. I can make sure I input take in the output, the CSS, the final version of it, and we should be ready to go. Before that, I will copy all my folder of files, the font and the background images. So make sure you check the GitHub link down below and grab those, or you can use your custom one if you want. So right now I'm going to create a public file right here, and inside that public file I'm going to be copy pasting all my new stuff. So once I have that, you can see I have a font in here, Noto Sans regular. That's actually downloaded from Google Font. So I found it a very similar font that Starbucks use. They use something called, I think, So Do Sans. We don't have that on Google Font, so I found something similar, like a Sans font, this Noto Sans right here. So I downloaded, let's see, regular one right here, and I have some images. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the image from the Starbucks. So this one, this one, this one, and that one as well. So these are the 4 images I'm going to be using for the project. And let's see, let's start to see how our project is looking like so far. So far we have output CSS imported in here. We have the custom thing in here. So one cool thing about the Tailwind CSS is that I will be never coming to be on the CSS file at all. So this CSS file, I won't even touch it other than importing a font. All the CSS is going to be in here on the classes, because Tailwind is so awesome that you don't have to even open a CSS file. You can all put it in the class and Tailwind will do its job. Like, it's pretty awesome. For that, I'm going to be bringing in my font. So let's go here. That's the only thing I'll probably be doing in this CSS. So add font page, and then font family I will do is Noto Sans Reg. That's for regular, and for the source I will have it on the URL on my public. So go back, public, and then you have the Noto Sans regular right here. So make sure you have that. And then for the universal, I'll do font family Noto Sans Reg. That's okay, I guess. And then sans serif here. So that's cool. That's font is imported, font is added, and we had rebuild it again. So let's go back and check to our output. It's probably imported that font as well. Pretty cool. Tailwind is taking effect. Let's start coding the thing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is when we go back to the Starbucks, have the menu on the top, and then you have some heroes slides. I would say you have like have, and then you have some button, something like that, and then footer, and that's pretty much it. So seems pretty straightforward for a website, and Tailwind pretty easy to create with Tailwind. So let's jump right into it. I'll create a comment here, says menu, and in that menu I'll do a div, and in the div let's do a class. So I want it to be a flex. I want to be a flex row, which is done by default. I'll do justify. Let's create the content first, and then I'll add some flex box to it. So div I'll do URL, and let's say here I will bring in the Starbucks logo, so I will inspect it, and on here I have this SVG. I'll copy that, copy element, and go back to it, and then paste it. So that's a long SVG, and let's run our live server. There we go. That's a huge Starbucks logo. That's crazy. So we need to take care of that first. First thing I am going to be do is change the width to, let's say, 10%. So 10%, that's okay. We can play around with that, of course, but I want to make it in a way that this are one thing under one div and this is under one div, so we can like to justify between, so separate, make a space in between like that. So that way it works, it should work pretty well. So I will create a couple more item down here, and I will do is, since it's on the list, I will do a list item in here. Oops, since it's on our list, I'll do some list item, and it says menu, and I'll create a couple more. Couple more in here, and then I'll do this one, says reward. I should say gift cards. So once I'm done with that, I can go ahead and create another div, and in this div, let's say another list item again, and then I'll say find store. So create this, and you can see these are all together as a flex box. Not working out right now, so let's start adding some stuff. So we have the flex going, pretty cool. So we just let's do some flex in here as well. So flex, and then I'll do flex row, and then font bold. Working right now. If not, we have to double check it. All right, so looks like it's not working. Maybe I did something on the config, or right, I forgot to put this in here, so hopefully it should be working right now. All right, cool, it's working right now. This just a note, when you have any problem in Tailwind, like in the future you see that Tailwind is not working as expected, it's usually something going on in the config that breaks the Tailwind. So make sure everything is pitch perfect in here. Like sometimes if I forget to do this, it's not gonna work at all. So little something to keep in mind. So anyway, jump back to our tutorial. Look like our flex is working, our font bold is working as well. Pretty cool. Let's do something like this. Flex, and then we will do justify between to make them. You can also notice that I have some Tailwind classes in here. This is actually VS Code IntelliSense. I have let's see, I have a Tailwind extension called Tailwind CSS IntelliSense, and because of that, I will be able to bring in my Tailwind classes, which is pretty cool, super awesome. So if you don't have that, make sure you install that. And yeah, I also wanted to item center, so everything is center vertically. So item center, there we go, very cool. All right, and then I'll add some padding vertical of 2, and then I'll padding horizontal of 2 as well. So a little bit padding up here, and yep, that's looking good. I will add some items center. That's cool, centered. And let's take a look at the font right now. So I have a extension, Chrome extension, what font that kind of see, which is 14 pixel. All right, so most of the font in the Starbucks are 14 pixel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own font size to make things a little easier. Again, when you're doing anything in here, make sure it's pitch perfect, because if I mess something up again, it won't work again. So font size, extend. A little brief explanation of what the extend does. So Tailwind have something called theme. So Tailwind have a lot of theme classes, pretty cool colors and text, for example. And if you want something that is your own, that you want to customize, you want to extend the theme, and that way you can create your own class and you can just add it on the Tailwind project as well, which is super awesome and really cool to work with. And I will create my 14 pixel font size called SM. Tailwind have their own SM, but I want to create my own SM as well, so it's easier for me to determine my sizing. So the way I have to import on our thing in here, I can just do is text to let's say text and SM. See, already bought in that font 14 pixel. So Tailwind already sees that I have a 14 pixel, and it just add that in. So now I check my font size, you can see it's 14 pixel, which is pretty cool. Pretty easy to work with. I can have my own config, I can have my own classes and add that into my Tailwind project. So that's out of the way. Let's see what else we need to do here. We need to add some separation in here. Let's jump into that as well. So I will do is create a class. You know what, let's do it all together so it's a little easier. So class, I'll do is pixel 2, horizontal padding horizontal 2. So that one, if you want to search it on Tailwind, what does that mean, you can do that here. Come over to the Tailwind doc, and they have a thing right here. So 2 px1 is 0.25 rem, and px2 should be a little bit more, which is 0.5 rem, 8 pixel. So a little bit over there. Let's compare. All right, not too bad. I think we're getting there somewhere. And next thing we are going to be doing is, I think that's let's start working here as well. So on that side, we have a few responsive issues, right? We have right here responsive, and then when you make it smaller, it actually disappears, right? Oops, it should disappear. See, so when you make it smaller, kind of like disappears right there. So we are going to be implementing that as well on our project. So for those who don't know, Tailwind is a mobile first, so everything we added is coming from the mobile and then it's going up to larger screen sizes. So in order to do a mobile first integration in this one, we need to make sure that, so we need to make it in a way that is hidden on the mobile and shown on a larger screen. So the way we do that is let's go over here, and I'll do is come back here and add a class. I'll do is hidden, and then for large I want to be inline. So what that means is it will stay hidden on mobile. Once it hit the LG screen size, it's going to become inline. So let's take a look right here. It's shown, find a source shown. I'm making it smaller. It's going to disappear slowly. Oops, there. It's kind of like not working. It's a little wonky right now, but I think one refresh should solve it. So it's there, it's gone. So that's cool. We have that implemented. Now let's start doing some more coding in here. So for here, I'll do flex again, flex roll, and then font bold as well, text SM, and items center, of course. So pretty similar stuff we did on the other side. And here we will add a couple more. Let's see what else. We need to be adding sign in and join now. So sign in and join now. And here I'll add in join now. So that's good, that's working. And then next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to adding some padding in here. So again, I want to make sure I have padding on all those. There we go. And but it's looking good. I want to make sure I do one more thing, is add some button in here, right? These are a button, so I'll do this button and right there on the sign in. And doing the button on Tailwind CSS is pretty awesome. Like, we just add a bunch of classes, your thing become a button. So it's pretty cool. I'll start adding in. I'll do border solid. I'll do border black. Then I'll do border of 2 width, rounded full, padding horizontal is going to be 5, and padding vertical is going to be 1, and then text center, font bold. Once I save that, see, I have a nice button. So pretty cool, pretty straightforward. Everything I added, I just kept adding in on the classes, and it just happened. So I will just copy paste this, and I'll add this on here as well. Button as right there. I will join out here. So that's good. In here I have to like reverse something. So for reversing it, I'll do text white. So Tailwind have white color, and then background of black. Tailwind, you see Tailwind have a lot of other color as well. I just do black right here. Press it, and it changes to that. Pretty cool, working, really nice, not too bad. I can definitely add more padding on the top, padding on the bottom, but we will slowly get to it. If you want to add some of your own touch to it, feel free to go and add your own touch to it. Tailwind documentation have a lot of cool things you can explore, so follow along and maybe add some of your touches as well. Alright, so now we have a pretty solid thing going on in here. Let's see, we need to add a bar in here, and then we need to work on this. So this is going to be a little tricky because there's a responsive element to it, and you see goes pretty crazy. So we have to work on those, spend more time on those. So let's move on, and the next thing we are going to be doing is making sure we are there. I will create a border, and here I'll do this class border, margin top of 6, margin Y. So let's see, we have a border similar to that. Pretty cool, got that working. Our next we do is hero 1. So this is the first hero thing going on. So this is going to be right here. And you see how Starbucks does it. They have like a width on both sides, empty, and then everything is in the middle. So we're going to apply that as well. And then slowly when you go to mobile, it comes into column. If it's not on mobile, it's horizontal. So it's Flexbox thing we will be doing. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So first thing I will do is I'll create that white space on both sides. So div classes of XL. If it's on extra large, we'll have some horizontal margin, and Can't see that right now, but there's some horizontal margin going on. And let's start putting our thing right here. So first thing I want to bring in is this color right here, and that's our custom color. So what I will be doing is I will be using some configuration on Tailwind and bringing my custom color for this, so it's easy to work with. So let's go back to the Tailwind config, and in here we will be going to the extend one more time, and instead of font size we will be doing colors, and here I will say Starbucks green. So I'll do star green, pretty nice green color. So D4 E9 E2, so that's the color. You can also find it using this Chrome extension. There we go. So that's the color I have, and it's called star green. Pretty cool. Now I will start adding it in here. So let's see what we need to do. We need to do some flex in here, of course. So flex, and on mobile we need to be flex column, and on desktop we need to be flex row. Cool, we have that down. And for background we will be creating background BG, and then I'll add my custom color, so star green. Pretty cool, we have that down. And let's see, nothing is showing. We didn't add anything in here yet, so I'll do something like let's type in something. So we have that right here. So you see the margin from here, so it slowly becomes larger, and only on the large screen you have the bigger margin. So similar to this example, so we have got that working. Pretty cool. We just need to add the content. So yeah, let's jump right into it. And this is a tricky part actually. So we have the green thing in here, and now we need to do is have image and have content. So this is going to be a little Tailwind calculation going on in here. So first thing we will do is the content part. So I will do is flex none. I don't want any flex in here because it's just a static image. And then for MD, I will do, if it goes to medium or above, I want it to break it in half. So 12 part means this whole thing is 12. If I do it in half, 6 divided by 12 is going to be half of this. So that's the calculation I'm doing right here, Tailwind calculation. This is a Tailwind class, by the way, so you can look into the Tailwind doc to find more about it. And I will do relative because it's a static image. I want it to be a static thing going on there. So another cool thing here is I don't need to go and grab any images. I can do it all in classes as well. So Tailwind is super cool. So absolute, I want to make sure the image stays static that way. I will do a full width and height full as well. And for the background image, I will bring the image by BG square bracket URL, and then parentheses, and then we have a domain in here. So public / images / 1 dot web WEBP. That's the extension for the image, and I found it in here. You can like grab it and drop it on the desktop or copy save it. It's saving that file. It's not a JPEG. So I have that here. So I'll do BG contain. I want to have a background contain, and if it goes on large, I want to have a BG of cover, so that way it's a nice cover. And on the large, I also want it to be center, so it's a center image. Go back. Nothing is here. Not that bad. I want to make sure I have everything in place. Images, and then I have one. But cool. So we don't have any element in here. That's why it's not showing yet. But let's start adding some stuff. And right here, I'll do divs. That's something. So we have that image working, right? App image, have content. Awesome. So now we need to do one thing, is that because it's an absolute, it's a static image, it disappears when it goes on mobile. So for that we need to bring in that image on mobile as well, but it shouldn't be static. I'm not sure, this might be a little confusing, but I'll try to explain it one more time. So we have a static image right here because it's really difficult to have that split into two places. We need a box, and on the box the first portion is a static image and the second portion is content, because if we don't do the static, it get really jumbled up on the responsive side. So we don't want that to happen, so we want a static image in there. But the disadvantages to that is when it goes on mobile, it's going to be disappearing because the static image doesn't find space in there. So for that purpose, I want to bring in an image in here that's going to be only responsible for mobile. So do that, and then here I will add in some classes that on the large you want it to be hidden. So on large it won't be there. So on large it won't be there, but on small it will be there. So similar experience to what's happening on Starbucks as well. So on large is there, and small it gives a bigger image. So same effect to this, and boom. So yeah, I hope you understand that. If not, play that back. It will make more sense once we start creating more stuff to it. So that's out of the way, and I'm going to be adding some content in here. So let's jump right into it. So in here I'll add a div, and in that div I'll add some p tag that's going to say assign for, let's copy those tags. There we go. And then add a p tag. We'll be having that. And for the button, I'll just add in a button. I'll say join now. That's cool. We have those things. So let's start doing something in here. So let's start diving into classes. So for the div, for the main div, I'll add some classes called padding of 10 all around. And for the small devices, I'll add some padding of 24, and for margin of 12 as well, horizontal, and text would be center. So we have some nice spacing going on right now. Cool. Next thing we're going to be doing is add some classes in here. So for the text, I want it to be a little bigger text, so I'll do a custom 50 pixel. Let's see. Right, and then I'll do is font bold. There we go. Great. And next thing I'll do, I'll add some text sizing. Change it here to, let's say, 24 pixel. All right, great. And got the button in here. So classes. I won't be doing anything in here, so I'll just copy this one right here. So let's go to the sign in, copy the classes, paste it in here. Same thing as well. Great. I might want to add some margin maybe, so I'll add some margin top of 2. So we have that going. A nice margin in here, looking fresh, I guess. So you can change up the font, of course. You can add, try a different font to make it look like this. Or if you guys can find this sort of Sodu font, it will look a little bit more like that. But right now I match all the font sizings to 50 pixel, 24 pixel to be exact, and all working well. So that's out of the way. Let's see the responsive effect on the responsive. Good. Looks nice on the responsive as well. So awesome, we have that down. Next thing we're gonna be doing is add one of these. So this is going to be a little repetitive. So I have a hero out here. We'll copy that and then paste it in here and type in hero 2. There we go. But for this one, I want to have some spacing, of course. So margin top of 8, let's say. Nice spacing in here, and I want to reverse the role in here. So have the image going on in here. I want the image to be the second, right? Image comes second. So let's do that. So take the image, put it after this one right here. Great. And for the image, I want to have the 2. There we go. And for planet positive tips, we'll change in the sign as well. Text goes there. And for the button, it says learn how, so we will do that as well. It's learn how. Great. So we have that in place. We can do hover. So Tailwind have pretty cool hover effect as well. So we can do hover, focus, whatever. You can do hover, a little different background colors. So we can do right here, hover. We're gonna do the background. This is slate 50 Tailwind color. How it look like. There we go. You can do a different color, of course, but for now I'll just keep it simple. Just add that here as well. Okay, and let's continue. Let's add one more. So this one similar to the first one, so I'll just copy the first one. Here. So for here we have a different images. So I need to make sure I have the right image for the smaller version as well. When it goes small, have the right image. There we go. Great, working. Now let's add some changes in here. We have margin top of 8. And for the image, we have a different, it's a 3 JPEG, I believe. Yeah, so JPEG comes in. Great. And let's change some stuff in here. Eyes shaken. Introducing photo now. And change the color. So for the background color, I want to add my own color. So going back to Tailwind config, I'll add a different color called dark green. And this one is 1E3932. Nice dark green color. And let's see. I will add that on our main thing. So instead of the hero 3 dark green, I'll add dark green. Cool. And for the text, I'll add in white, I guess. Text white. Nice. And we need to reverse this. So this should have a background, a border of white border. So yep. Right here. Great. And text, when it's hover, we want text to be dark. So hover, text black. Brush it. There we go. Nice and working. We want to do one more, and that's going to be hero 2 duplication, because it's going to be similar to here, similar to hero 2. So I will make sure we separate that on out as well. 4, and for the image we're going to be having 4 JPEG, I believe, 4 JPG, and make sure I change the image on this one as well. The JPEG. Nice. How it's working. Cool. And bring in the text, of course. There we have it. There we have it. And color, we're going to be changing up the color a little bit. Dark green, text white, great, and other white, and the hover as well. So cool. Hover, color black, text black. So those are all done nicely. We need to be, I'm not going to do this credit card thing. I'm just gonna jump straight to this part and finishing it off with some icon. Font awesome, I will be using that for this as well. So let's start on that. So we have a border, right? So let's add a border. Yep. Border margin 6. Here we have a border, but we want this to be full. So what we can do is we can break it out of that loop. We have a full line, and then we need to bring that in one more time. Excel 40, so we can bring that in. So let's start doing our footer right here. So in here, I will do this footer. And for the footer, I will have a div of class, let's see, grid. I'll use grid this time because it's a little easier to do the footer. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do 4, not 5. And then I'll have on the mobile, I'll probably have like 2 rows, 2 columns instead of this drop down. That will make a little faster finish. So grid, I will do grid of columns of 2. Medium, if it goes to medium and above, it will be column of 4s. So yep. Margin, let's say 10, and then if it goes medium, we will have a different margin to make width a little smaller. And text, I will add this text. This is a light, so I'll add a configuration file in here and say I'll do light text. And here I'll type in let's say this one have a RGBA, so I'll do that. 0.58. There we go. Make sure the parentheses is there. Broke because I didn't have the parentheses, so it broke the whole thing, and I have to restart the server again. So I will go back, restart the server, build process should be working, and let's start adding those things. Text color of light text on our list, and for on this paragraph I'll do about us item, what the heck, about us, our company. Let's recreate this as well and see how it react to it. So 4 of those. See if our grid is working properly. The 4 grid. And if we make it smaller, I want to have 2 grid. Awesome. So grid is usually really easy if you are doing something like this. Make it really easy to work with template box. So yeah, that's a great pick, I would say. And doing the footer using a grid, you can like play around with this. If you want to add one more, go ahead, do it. It's totally up to you, just like Starbucks. But I'm going to be sticking with this for now. So I'll quickly put in all the content. Alright, so I put in all the content, and that's a lot of content. I will just start adding some style in here and make sure we have changes happening. So go back to the code, make sure I have that on right here, and start adding some styling to here. So paragraph, I want to add some font, of course, semi-bold. I'll do some semi-bold, and then text. It's going to be a text style. I think this is a little different text style. So I'll add that in on the Tailwind config. So here I'll do reg text. This is regular text or title text. I can do title text. So title text. This one have RGB as well. So careful with whatever I type. 0.87. Spacing in here. So it worked well. So I'll add title text. Right. Title text is added. Adding some other style as well. So I will add some padding in this, all of these. Padding. Let's say class of padding y of 2. Padding. This style I need to be copying on all of the P1. Oh, title text. So looking pretty good, not that bad. Slowly we're gonna move on to the other site. So in here we will have the div and the border, of course. Border and 6. Have that border right there. So full border, half border, full border, half border right there. Next we'll do is add some font awesome. So right now we need to do is go to Google font awesome. Oh, I don't want the font awesome CDN and CDN.js. They have awesome font right there. So copy that all mean. You can copy any one of them and make sure I go to the link at the very top and paste it in there. So we have font awesome working on our project, and yeah, so let's start digging in there. So first thing I will do is div, and in here all the font awesome will be living. So make sure you go to the fontawesome.com for that. Add some Facebook, copy that in to her. What else we can do? Pinterest, they have the Pinterest on Starbucks, I guess. Yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. All right, that as well. Instagram. I'll add one more, Twitter. And one more thing, we were missing one more icon, that was Find Store. So I'll add that in as well. That's location font awesome. So here, location And this one, the Starbucks, use something like a dot. So there's a dot one. Copy that. Find a store, paste that in there. Give a space. Nice. One awesome. Working. I'm ready to roll. So we have small social media icon as well appearing. So one awesome is working all well. Let's see what else we can do. So we need to expand this a little bit. Social media icon. So we can make this a little bigger. I'll do is this. FA XL, I believe, is the large one for the font, or 2XL. We can try FA 2XL, see how will that look. But I think that's good enough. And we're gonna add some classes, of course. So to change the color to reg title text. And we're going to be doing some margin top of let's say 8, and then flex just evenly. And width of 56. So in that 56 width, I want to be have it flex and just evenly, so we have nice spacing going on. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. I guess we can spread it out more if we want, and do a little bit more spacing. So for Tailwind have 56, 60. We can try 60. Spread it out a little bit more, but I think that works for now. The next thing we're going to be doing is add some text at the very bottom. We have some text in here, so I'll just add that in simple flexbox thing. Div. I'll make sure I have some flex, justify evenly as well. Then with fit, I want to make sure it's fitting, so it's like elastic almost. And then margin of 8. So I will explain what that means. So add some content in here to make it. Privacy policy, I'll add a couple more. So you can see the more I add, the width expand. So I will add one more element, the width will expand. That's W fit. But here I didn't add W fit. So I added only 60, it will expand in that 60 width. And then if I want to expand a little more, it will expand in that width. So that way I have the width in control. And here I don't want it to be controlled because it can expand because it's text. That's why I wanted to have an elastic effect to it. So that's why I have W fit. So in here I'll add a bar. There we go. Privacy policy, I'll do term of use. CA, supply, chain act, and then I'll do one more of that in here to have some cookie preference, I believe. Right, and next thing, I'll add the last bit of text down there. So what I can do is I go in here, p class of text light text, margin y of 4. I'll just copy the text from the website, paste it in here. That's great. We might need to have some margin on the left. That way, a little spacing there, but that works as well. you want to customize it, you can customize it more, but I think that looks pretty good. I mean, it's not that bad. So far we have done is the main menu. We added the font awesome here, so everything looking good. I think this is it. This was a pretty fast, nice tutorial. If you're new to Tailwind, this could help you out. Like, you can also learn some CSS effect, like how to handle this thing. So mobile first design, and then we had 2 breakpoint. The way we added, just to recap, we added 6 divided by 12 for the medium, and the image is static, so that way it kind of disappeared. But once it disappeared, we added another image in here, the replacement on that. This stays hidden on the bigger picture, it doesn't show up. And yeah, I think this looking pretty good, like a Starbucks website so far. Really nice. Really quick exercise to get your hands dirty with Tailwind as well. So I hope you had fun. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. How yours turned out. If you have any problem, let me know on the comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification, because I'll be coming in with more tutorials soon. And follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. The link is down below. And see you on the next video. Take care.